Welcome back. 13 minutes after 5 o'clock this Sunday afternoon. Good to have you with us. I'm Gareth Edwards. It's World Mental Health Week. So this hour, we're looking at understanding and navigating the mental strain, and it is severe, of being a small business owner in South Africa. Just look at the economy, look at the unemployment rate. How brave must you be to run your own business? So professionals in all industries are subject to some form of mental strain, of course. We turn our attention to the unsung heroes of our communities. It's the small business owners. Little by little, piece by piece, they provide pivotal roles in driving economic growth and providing employment. But what kind of strain does that come with as well? Daniel Moritz, CFO at Merchant Capital, making time for me on a Sunday afternoon. Daniel, good to have you on ENCA. And that's a lot of pressure for a small business owner, knowing that every move they make could result in people losing their jobs. It's stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening. Thanks for having me this evening.
So I don't know what's more stressful, Daniel, to be a business owner at the moment or someone who wants to start a business. What's more terrifying for you?
I think what's more terrifying being an existing business owner. We dealing with thousands of small business owners every day as we provide finance to these business owners. And what we're actually seeing is that these business owners, we underestimate the level of stress of us being a small business owner. Not only in these times, but in general, the small business owner is not only under the stress of running their business, dealing with their customers' demands, they've also got to deal with the livelihoods of all of their staff, as well as their own profitability of their businesses. So it's quite a big burden for these small businesses to have. And we as consumers of these small businesses that we rely on to be an essential part of our communities, sometimes underestimate how much stress these business owners are under.
So is it something that you think a lot of people are still wanting to go into? What are the numbers telling you? You're obviously from Merchant Capital as well. You've got a sense of the market then, Daniel. Are we seeing a decline in small business owners? And maybe because of what we're talking about, that strain, the mental strain could be playing a part in that? Or are you not seeing that?
No, we're not seeing that. We're actually seeing that the numbers are increasing. I think that the rewards of being a small business owner still outweigh the risks and the stresses associated. A lot of small business owners have got their businesses as a response to a need that they have within their target markets. And when these businesses get it right, and often they do, it's actually very, very rewarding. But along with that high rewards, there's a lot of risk and stress and sacrifice that goes into running these businesses. But we are seeing that across our customer base, we've actually increased the number of small businesses that we're seeing around 20% year on year. We're also seeing that the existing clients that we have are quite resilient despite the tough macroeconomic conditions.
Yeah, it's certainly not in anyone's favor at the moment, is it, Daniel? There's always risk of the interest rates going up as well. So it's one thing navigating the mental strain, but when anything comes to the mental aspect, the psychological aspect of a business, Daniel, it's also looking at understanding. It's one thing to navigate. It's quite something to understand what you're getting yourself into. And I would sort of imagine it's impossible to try and understand and imagine the sort of stresses if you're looking to go into this kind of business. Where do things normally fall over? Not from a financial perspective necessarily, but bad planning, bad management, and your expectations are all wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that it all comes down to planning and also planning for the unexpected. There's always expectation that things are going to go according to plan, and we plan accordingly. But I think it's really important for small business owners to also try and plan for the unexpected and try and have some sort of safety net for the unexpected. And a lot of the time it comes down to the financial aspects. If the financial aspects of the businesses are sound and under control, then the stresses are minimized. If financial is uncertain and cash flow, which is the life and blood of these SMEs, is uncertain, then it increases the stress levels. What we also find is that when our clients have got planning for their stock purchases and planning for unexpected expansion, and also planning for unexpected emergencies, they are better suited and they have peace of mind by knowing that they've got cost-effective funding that's customized to their needs, as opposed to being in a sticky situation and having to be quite desperate to take drastic measures to keep themselves afloat.
Yeah, and this is where an organization, a company like yours, Merchant Capital, comes in, because the moment there's financial strain, we all know what it's like when the wolf is at the door. When there's financial troubles, you start making irrational decisions, you start panicking, knee-jerk reactions, and that can often actually make the situation even worse. You start overdoing it, don't you?
Totally, totally. And I think that when you're under stress, you go into survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you sometimes make the right decisions, but often you may make impulsive decisions just to survive. And you can't blame these business owners. I think many would do the same in that circumstance. And what we've actually put in place is we've now gone on an initiative with our existing client base to ensure that we've got pre-approved facilities that are in place for these clients if and when they need them, without any obligation of taking them out. So that way they've got the safety net. And when something goes on, when there's a flood, when there's a real problem or an emergency or even an opportunity, they can tap into these funds quickly without any obligation. What we find is sometimes we've got clients, and fortunately we're able to turn things around really quickly. We often will have clients that will approach us and say, we actually need the money 5 o'clock this afternoon, which we'll oblige and we'll be able to assist. But can you imagine that level of stress of these clients that they're going through, that they actually need these funds from an emergency point of view? And it happens for good reason more often than one realizes. So what we have found is that when our clients plan, and we've got, when we work with our existing clients, we actually work, it's more than just funding. What differs us, or one of our biggest drivers of our culture, is to help these SMEs thrive. And I think we all realize how important SMEs are. Know that from a community point of view, imagine a situation whereby you didn't have your local SME that was servicing you. It would leave a massive gap. And that's before you even take into account how SMEs are actually the backbone of the South African economy. So we've got to look after our SMEs, and we've got to make sure that the SMEs are appropriately supported and appropriately funded. And often these SMEs are just left out there, they're on their own. They've got to be, in the example in a restaurant, they're the chef, they're the bookkeeper, they're the financier, they are customer relations. And I think just when engaging with these unsung heroes of our communities, we should just acknowledge how much they actually contribute.
Yeah, and this is why Merchant Capital and others are there as well. CFO, he knows his number. It's Daniel Moritz, and this is not even to talk about the stress, as he says, that emergency funding to get staff paid, because a supplier hasn't paid, a customer hasn't paid, a client hasn't paid, and now as a small business owner, it becomes your problem to pay the staff who've done the work. That's why you have someone like Daniel Moritz from Merchant Capital making time for us this afternoon. Daniel, thank you. Have a great day. Have a good weekend.